Hiya, my name's Graham and I work for Rimmer's Music, and what I'm going to talk to you about today is the questions I get asked, as in like, what keyboard should I buy, or what's the difference between a digital piano and a normal piano, or an acoustic piano. So I'm going to show you the difference today between a digital piano, an acoustic piano or a real piano, and a keyboard, so that you know the difference. So let's start with the acoustic piano. So this is a real piano. I've taken the front off so that you can see inside it. So what actually happens when you're playing the piano? Well, if you could just come a bit closer with that and then just look down there. These things here are called the dampers, and they're pressing against strings at the moment, stopping them from resonating. So when I press a note down, what happens is it releases the damper, and can you see that hammer there? That hits the string like that. And then when I let go of the key, the damper goes back on the string to stop it from making that noise. So hopefully that makes sense. So basically what happens then is I press this key down, it releases the damper, the hammer hits the string makes the noise, and that's why you're hearing that note. Then when I let go of it, puts the damper back on to stop the note. Does that make sense so far? Hopefully it does. So there's a lot of things going to make that piano work, but what it means is you can get a lot of dynamics to your playing. So you might have heard people talk about touch sensitivity or touch response and what's the feel like, and what they're talking about is that how responsive this key is. So basically how fast it comes back to its original position, and what dynamics you can get in the tone from different levels of pressure. So basically as I hit it lightly, it's a quieter sound than if I hit it hard. But not only that, because I'm hitting it harder, I'm getting a slightly different sound. And you can hear it changing. So fundamentally, that's just how a piano works. Releases the damper, hammers the string, however hard you hit it, makes it louder in a slightly different tone, and then you go from there. So, and then the more you spend on an instrument like this, is it has better quality materials. So for example, have a better soundboard, or the pieces are better, and it just improves the sound. But the basics are that. So if you just keep that in mind for a second, it also has 88 keys. That's the full length of a piano keyboard. So a piano keyboard has 88 notes, and how you play it is generally you create an accompaniment with your left hand, and your right hand's playing the melody. Or sometimes you get a combination of the two where they bleed into each other. So I'll just give you a quick example of that. So to make a piano sound good, then you have to put the effort in to play it quite well for it to sound good. So as a beginner, what you do is you start on the middle section, and then you gradually work your way out until you become more elaborate with your playing. So I'll just show you a basic tune to give you the idea of what I mean with that. So everything that comes out of the piano is created by you. So for example, that was created by me. Now you might now notice that the sound's continuing to play. Well, why is that happening? Well, that's because I've pressed this pedal down here on the right hand side, so I'll just move out of the way so you can see it. And that's your sustain pedal, as most people call it. So what that basically does, we'll have to go back to the inside of the piano and so you have to come back here. But can you see inside there where I showed you about it releasing the dampers? If I press that pedal down, it releases the damper on every key. Can you see that? So what then happens is that when I press some notes down, they continue to play because the dampers aren't going back onto the strings to stop them from playing. So that's called sustain. Now I'm keeping my foot on that pedal, and it's still ringing away and ringing away and ringing away. And that will eventually die down and disappear, but that's called a sustain pedal. Now, something else I'll just show you is this thing here. Some people call this the practice pedal in the middle. So you'll have to look at that and look at this at the same time. It's a bit weird, but there you go. Press that down, move it to the left or the right, the left in this case. And what it does, it puts this felt in between the hammers and the strings. Well, why is it there? Literally just to make it a quieter sound. So some people refer to it as a practice pedal. So you get that. I take that off now so we can see that come back up. And you can hear it's much brighter and it's a lot louder. So that's basically the main parts of the piano. Other than in this particular one, on the left hand side we have another pedal there, which literally just moves this action closer. Okay, it gives a slightly different feel and a slightly quieter sound again. So hopefully you now understand the basics of a piano. So the basics of this, you're pressing this down, which is a mechanical action, which is physically pushing a hammer to hit a string like that and make the noise. If it was on a grand piano, it would be, excuse my phrase, but it'd be going like that and hitting it upwards. So consequently, you get a faster action on a grand piano because all it has to do is fall down, where this hammer has to fall back. So that's that. So let's say you think, well, that's okay, but I want to learn piano, but I don't really want anything this big. I don't really want the noise. It's a bit difficult where I live, or I'm in a flat, or whatever it might be. So then we move on to something like this instrument. So this is called a digital piano. And what is a digital piano? Well, don't get confused between a digital piano and a keyboard. So a keyboard is built to play in a different way than a piano. A digital piano is built to copy the acoustic or real piano as much as it can. So how do they do it? Well, if I just switch this on and I play a note, it's designed to copy this kind of idea where the harder you hit it, the louder the sound is, and the softer you hit it, the quieter the sound is. So it's giving you the touch sensitivity that we talked about earlier on. But this, in order to create that feel that has, they put a little weight on each key at the other side. So it's like a little tiny weight to counteract what's going on with the key, to give the impression of a hammer hitting a string. So the idea is it's starting to feel like a real piano, and they're recognised up to grade 6 with the Associated Board of Music, and other boards of music recognise them, so you can physically do your exam on this piano in the exam room up to grade 6. So it's an absolute, fantastic product if, let's say, noise pollution is an issue where you are. So, but what they also do is, because it doesn't cost them much more to put extra things in it, you can get things like other sounds, like electric pianos or digital piano sounds, or some have strings. And as you pay more on an instrument of this nature, what improves again is everything. You get a better speaker system, you get a better feel. More money's ploughed into the actual feel of the keys. If we just look at this again over here, it's quite difficult to see from the angle maybe, but the hammer's on this side. If you look at that hammer, is bigger than the hammer on the other side, and they taper down. So basically, you get a bigger hammer on the bass notes than you do on the treble notes up here. So that consequently means that you have a slightly different feel or amount of pressure needed to get the full volume this will do. It's slightly less required on the right hand side over here than it is on the left hand side over there. So let's go back to the digital. Oh, sorry to set you backwards and forwards, but on here what they do is they put weights in the keys to give you that feel. Now as you spend more on a digital piano, they put more money and technology and research into getting that feel from that hammer action into here by using weights, until eventually some digital pianos have a hammer action in them, so you can't get any more real than that. It actually is a hammer action that feels and plays and is a real hammer action, but it's a digitally produced sound. So just to give you an idea what it does, I'll do that same little piece on here. So I've got this. So but by having a weight on each key, it allows you to get the dynamics from soft to loud in a much better way than you can on a keyboard, which I'm going to show you next. So hopefully this is all going in, but come with me. what we've got now here is a keyboard. So people say to me, you know, what keyboard should I get? Well, it's whether is it piano that you want to learn, is it keyboard that you want to learn? The keyboard that I'm showing you here has 61 keys. Now we said earlier that a full-size piano has 88 keys. So why do you need 88 keys? Well, basically what's missing off here, if you wanted to play it in a piano style, is the bass notes more than anything. So you could argue when you're trying to play your piece, eventually you're going to be hitting the plastic and you're going to need more notes. But what you don't get on a keyboard is you might get touch sensitivity, so let's just do that again. So I press it hard and it's loud, I press it soft, it's quiet. But because the key just has a spring on it, it doesn't have any kind of weighted feel, so it doesn't feel like the real piano or the digital piano. It just gives you that soft and loud impression, and it's very difficult to get the dynamics in between from soft and loud. So you find that you go from soft to loud quite quickly rather than subtly how you can do it on a real piano, because as you're playing progresses you will want to get those dynamics. So if you want to learn piano, then ideally what you want is a digital piano or an acoustic piano, because they both have 88 keys and they feel right and play right, and they will also develop the muscles in your hands that's required to play and get those dynamics in your playing. Whereas what this will do is it will give you some of the notes, in this case in the middle section of the piano, but eventually you're going to need those extra notes. However, what a keyboard has, that those two that I've just showed you don't have, is a different style of playing that's known as keyboard style. Now what that basically means is you can pick a rhythm within this keyboard, and you get lots and lots of sounds, and you get lots and lots of beats and rhythms and things like that. And the idea is that you can press a couple of notes with your left hand like this. Oops, if I get it right, it'll help. And then it'll play an accompaniment for you. Now this is called playing a chord. When you play three notes together, that makes what's called a chord. So without going into massive musical detail, how you play a keyboard generally is you put a backing on like this, and then you play the melody with your right hand whilst changing the chords. I'll show you. So it's like this. Also do introductions and endings, so in this case the band's going to finish it off for me and I can let go of those notes and it finishes it off for you. So basically you've got like a band in a box, you could say. So the idea of a keyboard is you play it with, like, what you'd probably call it a chord shape. You learn shapes with your left hand that play chords, and you play the melody with your right hand. Eventually you could go from this to a piano or a digital piano, but you would then have to re-strengthen your fingers because they get used to the fact that these are a very light key action in comparison to playing a real piano or a digital piano. There is one other instrument that I've not got here to show you, that you can get a crossbreed between the two. So what you can get is you can get a digital piano with all the keyboard features as well. And that's another instrument I can show you in another video. Or if you go to our website, www.rimmersmusic.co.uk, you can have a look at all the products, or give us a call on 01772 622 111, or pop into any of our shops, and we've got expert staff that can show you through all this, and they'll take the time and make sure that you get the right product for you. So I hope my little explanations help you, and enjoy your music once you get into it. And thank you very much for watching.